What is going on, Halloween fans? It is that time of the year once again. Now, before I begin, I do want to apologize. I know I was supposed to have all my review videos of all the Halloween films and eventually leading up to my ranking video, but I had to get this video out now because this is important right here. This is priority, the review for Halloween Kills. So let's go ahead without further ado, and we're gonna start. You already know me. We're going to start with people's opinions. I like interacting with the public because whether you disagree, whether we agree, or whether we agree to disagree, your opinion matters to me. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go check out some of the people's opinions of last night's screening of Halloween Kills.
I thought it was just a great story. I mean, there was so much going on, and these little side stories and everything. I mean, I was expecting it was going to be Jamie Lee Curtis versus him, and it was just going to be really one-dimensional. But I mean, there was a lot going on. They put a lot into it, and whoever that director was, he was terrific. And it was clearly the goriest film I've seen of all the Halloween movies.
It absolutely didn't work. There was no plot, but I thought Jamie Lee Curtis, I like her, so I give it a try.
Yeah, but everybody's involvement is understandable in the narrative while everything would be involved. I didn't think Laurie Strode was in the background at all. I thought she was pretty much on the same level as everybody else. I thought it was even Steven, to be honest with you. I thought it was equally yoked as far as all the characters.
In the second one, she was in the background. And I also thought it was interesting we think it's all going to end back in that damn hospital again.
And I kept looking for the connection with her, and I couldn't find the connection throughout the movie. So no plot for me, and no real connection to Jamie Lee Curtis' character.
Yes, it was great because all the people that I knew from the 80s were back again. Anthony Michael Hall and the girl from Real Housewives and all of them, and they were like beating the bleep out of them. And that's what I thought was so cool about it, because it was just like my generation, now they're the ones fighting.
And it was nice that they gave us some backstory, that they went back to the 70s, and it just had a nice gritty feel to it. But all the Halloween films have had that. It's very raw looking footage film.
The pacing works perfectly. It kept my attention. I was into the story. Like I said, it was a solid narrative. I liked the characters that they had. I liked the misdirection of people thinking that one guy was Michael Myers.
No, the pacing was perfect because it was like it would slow down just enough to freak you out. It's like I was holding a little napkin and the whole time I was like, it was enough to just, it was just right. It wasn't too slow, it wasn't too fast. I think it was just right.
Oh gosh, you know what? It was probably one of the best paced horror films I've seen in a long time. I mean, for a slasher film, and I'm not really into slasher films. I was never into the Freddy movies or any of that, but every few minutes something was going on. I mean, it was just completely loaded.
It wasn't thrilling, it was ridiculously trying to be scary and not really scary. I was waiting to be scared, and I wasn't really. It was just gory scenes that I didn't really want to watch.
The story was great to me. It gave me true horror, like straight up horror, gore.
You know, Hitchcock movies, the way they used to be thrilling and not necessarily show all the blood and gore, but still scare you. This showed a lot of blood and killing without really being scary.
This is definitely a step up a notch. Like, it's hardcore Michael Myers for real. So I liked it.
Well, definitely showing way too much blood, way too much stabbing. It was mostly just stabbing and shootings. I mean, I kept hoping to see more of Jamie Lee Curtis' character, and I didn't, unfortunately. I was very disappointed.
Well, a few of the characters stood out for me, but in a bad way. And it's okay. I understand when people are scared in reality and also in film that people are gonna make stupid mistakes. But there were 4 characters in particular I thought they could have been smarter as far as trying to survive and trying to fight Michael Myers.
Just the way it was produced and the sound effects, you got the idea of all of the characters, what was going on, and what the moral of the story was. That's the part I liked about it, is that it wasn't just slash and burn. There was a little bit of morals to it. Well, let's just say in the end, it's very, very good ending.
And those were a few thoughts of some of the fellow moviegoers that went. I want to thank you, each and every one of you guys, for supporting, for sharing your thoughts. And a big shout out to Europe the Smitty Reviewer, who also just started his channel, so go ahead and check him out. All right, so let's go ahead and start with my thoughts. So, Halloween Kills. So it seems like every sequel to Halloween, whether it's a reboot or whatever you want to call it, we always seem to come back to a hospital. Laurie always comes back to a hospital where she's in bed. Michael's doing his thing. He's supposedly going to come back. Laurie's just in bed dying. And it seems we've done that many times. It happened in the 80s. It happened with Rob Zombies, kind of. And that's one of the things that brought it down for me, that compromises the film, because we've seen this plot many times before. It's not the same exact plot, but it's the same setting for a sequel. The movie does take you back to that original film, the original Halloween Night from the 70s, and it does a very good job of that. It really does give you that 70s vibe. And there's a surprise character that I'm not going to spoil, but who, I don't know how they managed to do this, but all Halloween fans are going to be pleased and excited to see this character brought back. Other than this character that I mentioned, there's a lot, it seems like everybody's coming back, a lot of returning characters. There's a lot of flashback references to the 70s, but the downfall is that we get yet more exposition until the very end. The story, I feel like it doesn't really evolve or develops anymore in this film. It feels almost as if the movie's just filled with all the blood and all the gore, which is not a bad thing. That's what a lot of people like. A lot of people are lean into that when it comes to these horror slasher franchises. But if it compromises the story, then that's when it's like, it's too much. Much like my man Sean here said, you know, it's too much gore, it's too much blood, and it's not a bad thing, but if that's all you see, then it's like, oh, all right, come on, where is this going? And speaking of the gore and kills, there's a lot of that in here, and if you're into that, you will definitely enjoy this film. This is a really bloody movie. It's a lot of blood, a lot of gore. It entertained me to an extent, but when I want more of how this story could develop, then that's when it starts getting a little bit too repetitive. Oh yeah, and if you came here for Jamie Lee, then you will definitely be disappointed like some folks were, because she is not the main character, and I believe it was established, but you know, if not everyone's gonna go and read articles or anything like that, so if you came for her, you'll probably be somewhat disappointed, because the screen time is really shared evenly throughout everybody in here. All these characters, they really want to give everyone equal screen time. It doesn't seem as if there's one main protagonist, even though it's really Laurie. We know it's Jamie Lee the whole time, but she does not have as much screen time as everyone thought would. And I think this was a missed opportunity for Tommy Doyle. I mean, this guy, we haven't seen this guy in 40 years. So I believe it was a missed opportunity for him to really get himself out there and even be somewhat of like a dynamic duo with Laurie. Also, there's one thing that the story does where it's misguiding people to think that a certain individual is Michael Myers, and I feel like where that movie failed in that is that the audience knows, us as the audience, we know that this certain individual is not Michael, but the people of Haddonfield don't know. But I feel like it could have been better if the audience, we are the ones being misguided. In a nutshell, pretty much the story may seem convoluted to some because the movie is pretty much split between different groups of people. It's Laurie in the hospital, and we have another group of Tommy with some folks trying to form a mob, which again, it's another reference to a previous Halloween film from Halloween 4, as they're trying to form a mob. And again, we've seen that already before. There's a lot of things in this movie that we've already seen done. It may not have been executed well, but this movie doesn't do any better either. If you don't really trip about story development, then you're going to enjoy this film. You're going to enjoy the kills, you're going to enjoy the gore, you're going to enjoy all the humorous parts, all the comedy, and you're going to have a good time. But if you're one of those that really likes to dive in deep into the story of Michael with Laurie and all these people, then you might be slightly disappointed. The film's going to feel like it just has stuff to fill in order to prolong the whole movie. So in the end, I will say that Halloween Kills is a VOD for me. All right, so Halloween Kills, if you've seen it or if you're gonna see it, go ahead and drop your opinions down in the comment section below. Be on the lookout for some Halloween trivia coming soon. Don't forget to hit that like button, smash the subscribe button. Don't forget to keep watching me and keep watching movies.